right? It's, if I remember it rightly, that doesn't end well.
Oh my God, it's the most depressing end.
But yeah, so what I was going to say about Eddie Marzan, so it was a lovely tweet. He said that he called you a shining example to those from a less privileged background, which is raising that point I think has been discussed like over the years about acting still being somewhat of an exclusive club. To enter acting, you know, it's not easy. It's, you know, there, you need to have a bit of money behind you, maybe contacts, networking, and it does seem like certain people have it easier to access acting and make a career of it. Do you think that is starting to change now here in 2021? Do you think people from less privileged backgrounds are being able to get into the career of acting and explore that easier?
I think there has been a shift over recent years. I think when I think about the likes of, you know, Daniel Kaluuya or Riz Ahmed, or I think, you know, they're really breaking through. I mean, I remember doing an initiative a couple of years ago for RADA, and they came to me and they said, you know, it was their goal to try and hunt out and find, you know, poorer kids from lesser backgrounds. So I know drama schools like that have initiatives, but and I think maybe what Eddie was going on about is that maybe so much working class actors aren't celebrated as much as other people, or stuff like that. And I think there is an argument to that, you know. And I think the likes of the Eddies and the Stephen Grahams and the Johnny Harrises aren't as, I don't know if we're celebrated as maybe our sort of posher contemporaries. I mean, I'm not taking away from those guys; they're incredible, but I think there's always room for the door to always be open and to always spread the net as far and wide as you can to find, you know, kids from poor backgrounds, because you need that. You need. The thing is, and it's not just actors. It's people. It's writers. It's the producers. It's the next generation of directors. It's on both sides of the camera, because and then you can really tell those working class stories. And I think if you never want to get into a place where those types of films are never being made. I mean, I sat down when we're down in Devon. We sat down and watched Kes. I showed the son that. We went to a falconry and he was like obsessed with kestrels, and I went, oh my God, we've got to put Kes on. And I'd not seen it in years.
You're right. It's, if I remember it rightly, that doesn't end well.
Oh my God, it's the most depressing end. I mean, you know, his elder brother kills the kestrel and that's it, and he buries it and it ends. That's the end of the movie.
Yeah, yeah. I think I might have watched that, and what was it? The Ring of Bright Water, the one with Tarka the Otter in. The woman right. I couldn't believe it. I think I watched Kes about a week earlier, and then I watched that, and I'm like, the fucking otter dies at the end. He gets killed by his love. He loves this otter, and the dogs kill it. I'm like, what is it with British movies? Where's the Goonies? Give me the Goonies. I'll put the Goonies
get
on.
The Goonies. But the authenticity in the films of Ken Loach and people like Mike Leigh. I've done work with Mike, you know. They're the types of films, those sort of ordinary working class stories, they always need to have a voice and a place and a platform. To balance it up, you can have Marvel films, you can have all the rest of it and musicals or whatever it is, but you still need to have those working class voices coming through. And I think actors, directors, all of us, we need to keep fighting that fight. Yeah.
I think there's some real truth in this idea of working class actors, and I guess this is says
the man who's about to play a robot next. Yeah,
and it is like, because I'm from a working class background up in Leeds, and it feels like a delicate conversation to have, purely because you don't want to be doing that working class hero shtick, which is like, you don't want to be like, to go back to Quint again from Jaws, because seemingly that's every reference point. You got city hands, Mr. Hooper. You've been counting money all your life. It's like, you don't want to be that guy. But at the same time, you sort of say, Stephen Graham, Eddie Marzan, and like Vicky McClure. These are the names that underneath Eddie's tweet, it was like the same sort of three names kept coming up. Like those were just the only other three people aside from yourself who people could name, who potentially could fit into that category of like and and so when you're seeing those same names repeated over and over, you're like, well, bloody hell, that's all anyone knows.
I know. I remember reading a great piece in The Guardian a few years back saying, where is the next Gary Oldman? You know what I mean? I mean, he was always an actor now that I greatly admire. But I tell you what the weird thing is, Alex. I think that it's taken me. I've been acting for 20 years, but I can. There's been a couple of occasions where, say, for example, someone wanted to cast me in an upper class role, and it was like, I remember the casting director saying, it was a pilot for an AMC show, and there was two roles, two brothers separated at birth. One was an Essex boy, and one was a gentrified surgeon in 18th century London, and it was written by Rowan Jones, this brilliant American guy, and I obviously went in for the Cockney role, didn't I? And he was like, "Oh, hold on, can't we? Danny's great. Can't we? Let's test Danny for the other brother." And it was like the room was like, "Oh no, we don't do that. Danny doesn't do that." And he was like, "What do you mean?" He went, "We don't do that with Danny." And he was like, "What? What do you mean?" And in the end, I ended up screen testing for both the roles, and I got the posh one, and the brilliant Tom Hollander. So our special class was switched in those two roles. It never got picked up. I've seen it. It was great, but it took an American's sensibility to sort of look at that and go, "Hold on, why can't we do that? Let's just play it outside the box." And sometimes we get so blinkered in this country. Do you know what I mean? And I'm talking to casting directors when I'm saying this, is that, try and be as creative and inventive with your choices as possible, because there are kids from poorer backgrounds who have a huge capacity for playing a whole wide breadth of characters, and they just need to be given the chance. Do you know what I mean? And it's I've had to really fight for that, throughout my career, and I mean, hopefully I'll continue to do so, and it won't be so difficult.
Hello, Alex here. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to get in touch with us at all, for any reason, you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at JTFpod. And don't forget to subscribe to the full audio podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your pods.